You can't make this crap up.
I think we're saying goodbye to this. It is literally laughable at this point. Did you show them the damage? All right, welcome back everybody. It's Ben. I'm in the shop, not doing shop things today. You'll notice a little bit of empty space. Today is a special day. I think we're saying goodbye to this. So I got a message from one of the guys that have been looking at this saying, if you have it tomorrow, by tomorrow still, I'm gonna come and get it. So I figured it's time to do the video. You guys asked for the history and what happened to this truck, so I'm gonna do it real quick, right before I say goodbye. I am on the road today. It's Wednesday, but I'm headed north to Omaha. Crap. Some power. Something ain't right here. So I think the turbo just went out. So you guys will remember we posted a video of a trip to Omaha that I took. I ran into a few issues on the way, almost to Omaha, and ended up on the side of the road. Luckily I was close enough that Josh could come down in the Toyota Tundra that we have up there, and I was carrying a trailer, so it worked out. We loaded it on the trailer, determined that the turbo had failed, gone out, and after talking to a couple of mechanics, they said don't drive it, even though you can, don't limp it, take it to a shop. So we did. We took it to Nissan up there, since that was the closest, and they repaired the turbo. So while in Omaha, they put in a brand new turbo, and they did it under warranty because it was still under powertrain. And they took it out to test drive it before they called me to say it's ready to go. And they had some unfortunate news, or something unfortunate happened. Apparently, the new turbo that they put on there was starving the motor of oil on the oil return line, and so it actually locked up the motor and destroyed the motor. Uh-oh.
Hey, the Titan is not moving. I'm stuck at 180th and Dodge going eastbound. Oh, you
gotta give him that hawk tour.
So they towed it back to their shop, ordered a new turbo, and they ordered a new motor as well. So they got a brand new motor, brand new turbo, and they started to repair it. Now, some of you may or may not know this, but on trucks, especially like this, if you have to replace the motor, it's typically easier to take the cab off, raise the cab up, because then you've got access to everything. You can pull the motor out easy, put a new one in, drop the cab back on, connect up a few of the connectors. Now I say connectors because that's important. When they raised the cab on this truck, they didn't get all the connectors quite right, and they jacked up the thing and pulled on some of the wiring. So what they didn't know was that they pulled on some wiring harnesses that come from up here in this area and go down to the transmission. So I think they're the connection between the computer and the transmission, and there's one on each side. That particular harness costs, I think, about $7,000 if you buy the harness from Nissan. So they were unaware. They buttoned this thing back up. They called me and said, come and get your truck. It's got a new motor. And so I did. I went and picked it up. All right, I'm in my truck. I was careful because you have to break in a new motor. They said don't use cruise, drive it for at least 500 miles before you get on it super heavy, vary your speed, all that kind of stuff. So we did that. Got it back here, drove it around, and I drove it for, I don't know, a couple weeks. And then I got a code. I've had a development here on the truck. So I've gone 510 miles since the engine swap, and now I've got these Christmas lights, automatic transmission check. Yesterday, just driving around town at low RPMs, it felt like the steering wheel was like vibrating just ever so slightly. Basically, check engine light saying there was an issue with the transmission. So because we are here and not in Omaha, I called the Nissan here, made an appointment, took it over to them, and said, well, maybe they did something when they replaced the motor and messed up the transmission. We don't know. So they took a look at it, and they found a communication problem, which led them to the wiring harness that got damaged. They didn't explain to me why it would have been damaged, but they told me about it, and they repaired it under warranty. I picked the truck up, and within a day or two, those codes hit again. Okay, so let me back up a little bit. When this was in Omaha, I was without a truck for about a month and a half. Got it back, drove it very little, took it to Nissan here. I took it there no less than 3 or 4 times to get this harness repaired, and they didn't tell me what they were doing to repair it, but they just kept repairing it. Well, they finally took it and said, well, the transmission has been damaged by the way it's been driven. I'm like, you mean putting it around? They said, no, it's because it's not shifting right, not communicating properly with the computer, and that's done damage to the transmission. I said, so what do we do now? And they said, well, we've already ordered a new one for you. So they got a new one, they put it in, and sent me away with the truck, and it seemed okay for, I don't know, I had it a couple of weeks. So we're gonna take a peek underneath and see this shiny transmission. It's hard to see, but there's the transfer case. Shiny new transmission. This was right after the river run. You guys saw that we were going to try to take this on the river run, even hooked it to the gooseneck, and that didn't work because those lights came on and they said don't drive it or we won't warranty it. So that's when I took it to them. They replaced the transmission. I got it back about a year ago, July, August, I can't remember. And at this point, it's been gone for like 4 months, and I've driven it maybe half a month. Anyway, I get it back. It's got a new transmission. It's shiny. I'm excited. And, well, it has an issue, and it shakes. And I've talked to you guys about the shaking. It's only when I accelerate, and it's a vibration. Well, there's even people that aren't mechanics that say, oh, that sounds like the torque converter. I don't know. I kept taking it to them. They kept checking it, kept finding there's no issue, there's no issue. And finally, Nissan here said, look, we think that they didn't put dowels in between the motor and the transmission, which makes it shake, which seemed really odd to me. And I'm like, well, how much are the dowels? And they're like $5 parts or less. But they wanted to charge me $1,500 to pull the transmission again, check for dowels, and replace them, because this shop is not that shop in Omaha, and this shop will not warranty the work that's done in Omaha. So I could either pay $1,500 or I could take it to Omaha and have them check it and check their work. Okay, it was getting loud out there and warm. So I get in the truck, I drive it to Omaha, we drop it off at Nissan, and I get a call a few days later, and they say, look, it's not an issue with the dowels, they're not missing. And I didn't think it was, but they said, look, we figured out what the problem is. The torque converter needed to be replaced, so we've got one coming under warranty, we're gonna get it done. They call me a week later and they say, look, your truck's done. And I'm like, great. So I send Josh over to pick it up so I don't have to go over there, because whenever you go there, it's like takes an hour to pick something up. So Josh picked it up, drove it to the office in Omaha. I took his truck back to him. I started, it snowed that day, or that night. So I got my key, opened the truck up, started up to warm it, and I was moving stuff from the Tundra into this. And after I got done moving everything in, getting ready to leave, I'm looking at the dash and the check engine light, the automatic transmission light, everything is on like it was before. So I called Nissan and I explained to them that I've got lights on it. I haven't driven it yet, and they need to figure out what's wrong. I figured maybe when they put the transmission in, they forgot to connect something, or maybe they didn't flash it or fill the fluid. I don't know. So they said, bring it back. I took it back and I waited there because I figured it was something easy. I waited for a couple hours and then I got antsy and I'm like, this isn't gonna work. There's gotta be a bigger problem. So the lady came out, I talked to her and I said, look, I gotta go. So I'm leaving the truck again. And so I left it. I left it for another month or so. And so Nissan called and they said, look, we know what the problem is. There's a wiring harness that goes to the transmission that looks like somebody has done something to it or repaired it or whatever. It's not communicating properly, and that's why. And I'm like, we're back to this freaking wiring harness. So I called. They said, look, we were happy to fix it, but it's not our work, so we can't warranty it. And they said a new one's $7,000 something. If we repair it better than they repaired it, because they said they didn't repair it very well, it's going to be like $1,500 probably. I said, well, what did they do wrong? They said, well, they used butt connectors. They didn't solder anything. They didn't heat shrink it, and it's not getting good connection. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So here we are. The other dealership is now telling me that they don't warranty this guy's work, but it's up there 3.5 hours away. And if I want to do it for free or under warranty, I have to take it back to them. But I shouldn't drive it because it'll probably damage the transmission. Which we've been there, right? So Ryan and I loaded the new truck and the big trailer and we took it to Omaha. We went to pick this up and we're going to take it back to the dealer here. Actually, I went through a process of about a month filing with Nissan, getting a claim, trying to get them to work out the deal so I don't have to drive it, because at this point I've already wasted $400 or $500 in fuel going back and forth between these two. But they didn't want to help. They said I'm welcome to take it down there and deal with that. And so instead of waiting and waiting for them to do something, we just said we'll do it. So we went up there. You guys saw the tornado video. That's the one where we went up and picked up the truck and we brought it back. Well, mistakes were made. One, we brought the big trailer because it was the big truck. We just wondered if we shouldn't. So we did. And when we got there, the front end wouldn't go onto the trailer. I'll show you guys real quick. The front of this truck sits pretty low. So the back of the gooseneck drops down and it was hitting the tow hooks on the front. So to fix that, all we did was we turned the truck around and backed it on.
All right, folks, you can't make this crap up. Ben says to me, you're gonna want to come see this truck. Now again, this is a truck that we've had nothing but problems with.
It is literally laughable at this point. Did you show him the damage?
I haven't showed him yet. I get a phone call from Ben. I'm sitting in the truck. Yeah, we haven't even put it on the trailer yet. We have to now run this sucker all the way back down to Kansas City. We've been back and forth with it. And I know when he says you're gonna want to come see this truck, I'm like, what the frick is going on now? So while it was sitting here, somebody ran into the back of our truck. I just want this truck repaired and gone. At this point, I just want it gone. This is a nightmare. I would think Ben would be a little bit more upset about it. He's just at this point, he thinks it's comical. See, I'm at the point where I'm done with Nissan. I'm pissed. I guess I can smile and laugh about it once it's sold. Unbelievable. So Ben's over here just giggling like a little schoolgirl.
No, not like a schoolgirl, like a crying guy. Let's think of 500 things that could go wrong between now and when this truck drives out of our life, and I'm sure 489 of them are going to happen.
Well, yeah, definitely. Is there another tornado in the horizon?
Oh my gosh, we're gonna get it fixed, and it's gonna.
Well, that's what I thought you were showing me, was where a tornado, like a piece
gonna
of
get hit and run or something.
Well, I thought a piece of debris from the tornado had hit it.
What was funny is we go to pull it on the trailer, and I'm the one that said we got to take the big trailer for the big truck. And I tried
to talk him out of it because I know it's got a wicked slant.
Well, I didn't think about that.
We couldn't get it on frontwards.
We were going to put the BMW on it. No effing way.
No, the BMW wouldn't have come on this trailer. It too long.
Oh.
So.
Hey, but it went on backwards. It'll get there. It's going the wrong direction, but it's going to get there. All right, good morning. I am here at Nissan, getting ready to unload the black truck, get this thing dropped off. We had a mishap. So one drawback to towing this thing backwards is the cover. I have a foldable hard cover. It kind of folded, which isn't a big deal. It really didn't do anything, but I lost the little black trim piece that goes on top of the tailgate. So this piece on this truck flew off. Shouldn't those stay on, whether you're going forward or backwards? Shouldn't they be able to handle wind? Because the cover had nothing to do with that. The cover rests on top. So it's not like when it lifted, it would have pulled it. It sits on top. It would actually hold it. But that seems kind of chintzy, people. That a freaking piece of plastic would fly off if it goes backwards. I know most people don't go backwards at 60, 70 miles an hour, but I think it should. Let me know what you think. We're gonna get this thing unloaded, get it dropped off, see how it goes. I'm not gonna lie, that probably made Ryan pucker a little bit backing that thing up there. I was puckering just going down. It was easy to go down. Anyway, she's off. We're gonna go roll it in there and let them have it. We're back, or we're going back. No lights, no warnings. They said, and I quote, that it ran like a bat out of hell.
Well, it should. It's got brand new components.
It's got everything brand new. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see if it functions. Let's see if it makes it back to Grain Valley. I am gonna go once around it before I drive it, though.
Would you? Please.
Make sure it doesn't have any more damage.
Dadgum.
Boy, they make this parking lot tight. You know, pulling that trailer in here was no joke.
I'll bet. Jeez.
All right, well, we're in the truck. It does have a warning light. Just for fuel. So they ran it. They wanted to see if it would act up again, and I guess it didn't yet. So I'm gonna be the tester. So now I've dropped the truck off in Lee Summit for the last time, I hope. And they take it. A couple weeks later, they call, and it was about a week and a half later, they called and said, the harness isn't the issue. We're ordering you a new transmission. As soon as it gets here, we'll put it in. It's no cost to you. We're covering it under warranty. I'm like, seriously, a second transmission? But they replaced it under warranty again. Let's look and see if it's shiny. It's shiny. Here we go. So that brings us to where we sit today. I've had the truck back for, I don't know, a couple of weeks. We put it on Facebook Marketplace, listed it, and we're ready to sell it. Now, they have not fixed the bumper. I'm guessing they will never fix the bumper. It's not a horrible scrape, so we're just gonna leave it. We didn't buy a new plastic piece for the top of the bed because we feel like we're giving somebody a heck of a deal on this truck. So if they want to order a $60 piece of plastic from Rock Auto or someplace, that'll be great. But here the truck is. I think it's gonna be disappearing. I don't know if that'll make this video, but we'll show you when it drives away. I'm actually gonna miss the truck. It's a good truck to drive. It's been good to me other than this last year, but I don't, like I said before, I don't blame the truck. I blame the workers, Nissan.
What? No way.
For a couple of screw ups. And it's just everything that could go wrong with this truck has in the process. So that's the story on the Titan. Since I have the new truck, we're gonna let this go, and somebody else can take a brand new motor and brand new transmission and run it for a couple 100,000 miles. That's my thoughts, and that's what happened to this truck. It's been quite a ride, for real, but I like it. If you have questions or comments, let us know what you think. Was it a good buy? Was it a bad buy? Is it a good truck? Should we have kept it? Should we have not bought the Ford and just waited for this? On a side note, it was gone for over a year, and I drove it for maybe a month. So I've had to drive all sorts of little trucks. I've driven Josh's truck, I've driven trucks from here, I've driven my own car. You guys see in a couple of videos I'm driving the Audi because we just didn't have a truck available and it was bad weather. So I've driven all sorts of things, but I didn't have the truck. So we had to have Ryan tow some things. We had to have Ryan's truck step up and do some stuff that I should have been doing, so it wouldn't have wasted our time. But it's here, and now I have a truck. Somebody else is getting a truck, and we're gonna move on. That's the story of the Titan. I hope it was helpful, and that's gonna be it for today. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.
Well, sorry for the cussing. I was pissed.
Oh man,
A little bit
off
hot.
the bleep and
No bleeping. Let these people feel my rage.
I do have kind of a fun story. Well, not fun. When we first bought this truck, it came with, just like our Toyotas, it came with the first, I don't know, 2 or 3 oil changes. You get them done by Nissan and it's covered. So, hey, especially on a diesel, if you get a free oil change, you better take it. So I took it to them for the very first oil change. It was like 7,000 miles or something. I think it's supposed to go 10, but the thing went off at 7,500 or something. I took it there, they did the oil change, and I'm sitting there for like an hour and a half, which seems excessive for an oil change, and it was. What happened was they have a small shop, and since the diesels were new back in that time, they only had one mechanic that would work on the diesels, and his was the first bay. Well, they have to drive in and then turn around, almost like a U-turn to get into a spot. And I guess he hit the lift with the side of the truck when he was trying to pull it in or pull it out. I'm not sure which. And the guy took me out, the service guy, and he goes, "Look, we're gonna fix this for you, but I want to show you what happened." And there was a crease all down this thing. It was buckled in really bad on this side. Didn't do anything else, just this rear quarter panel. And I called Ryan and he's like, "Oh my gosh." It was kind of a big ordeal. They put me in another rental. Well, they had a loaner Titan. Wasn't diesel, but they put me in that. I drove that while they were getting this fixed. They fixed it. So ever since then, I've had to watch, or when I come out, I do a walk around the truck.